Oh, my goodness, the sound music is playing again. Exciting.
There we go, the music stopped.
Oh, my goodness, the sound music is playing again. It's still playing. Maybe it was my second device, which had no sound on it, because the sound's not working. Again. It's still playing.
I think we're all good now.
Technical issues?
Second device, which had no sound on it. The sound's not working.
No. Are we okay now? We're not okay now? Hello, everybody, if you're with us. We have some slight technical issues. All good now.
Right, we think we're all good now.
Hello, everybody, if you're with us.
No,
no.
It's not. we have somebody in the background looking at the sound.
Slight technical issues. All good. Hello, everybody, if you're with us.
No.
Hello again. We love technology when it works. Oh dear. We are attending to this. Please bear with us. We won't be long, promise. Here I am on my own. Good evening, everybody. Happy Thursday.
Hey, right. So this was my problem, because I had been checking the link earlier on for the live stream and it was still open in the background.
We love digital when it works. We love technology. We absolutely love it. Brilliant. And it's just Thursday. It's Friday Eve.
Yes. So we're good now. I've shut down the background one. The sound's sorted. I can check on the second device that it's working. So we're all good now. So happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Brilliant. And now we've got even more excitement ahead, because normally it's Sarah that does the presenting of the PowerPoint slides, but it's my turn tonight. And bear with me 1 second. I'm going to try. Hold on a little second. Fingers crossed. Share. There's hundreds of clicking. Share. Let me do this. Here we go. Now, and every time I do this little bit at the bottom, I come back. Is that me now?
That's you now. Yep, that's it up.
Perfect. Okay.
So we're on the last of our feedback fortnight sessions. So we've had 4. We've done OneNote. We've talked about Form. We've done OneNote and we did Flipgrid last week. And you can catch them on demand. Last night, we were talking about forms and Word and PowerPoint and a little bit about Excel and how you could be leaving feedback within them and how you can use them. And then tonight, we are on a final one, which is going to be Teams. We're going to be talking about Teams and all the different ways that you can leave feedback within Teams. And hopefully you will be able to go away. And you might probably using some of these ones anyway. But it's just to kind of highlight these to people that maybe haven't seen them before and really kind of show how myself and Amanda have been using them in the classroom and what we found beneficial. So for anybody that doesn't know, my name's Sarah Clark. I'm science teacher in biology over at Queen Anne in Dunfermline. And I am available on Twitter at SFM36. So please, any questions you have, stick them in the YouTube chat tonight. I know there's a few people watching along live, or put them on Twitter later on and we'll answer them as best we can.
Perfect. I am Amanda Pickard. I'm a primary school teacher, but I'm actually on secondment at the moment as the Digital Learning Officer for South Yorkshire Council. I can be found on Twitter at AJOBPickard. Please get in touch, give me a wee follow, I'll follow you back. If you've got any questions, happy to answer anything. And obviously we want you to make sure that you follow at Tablet Academy Scotland as well. The Twitter handle is at the bottom of the screen. And let me just move on to the next slide. Oh, I'm flying now. Excellent. Here we are. We've got a MET code for you to redeem. Please go and do that. It is really worthwhile doing it, and you can pop it into your GTCS profile as well. So make sure you let us know that you've done that, and you can put a wee message on Twitter and hashtag Team MIEE Scotland. Sarah and I are both members of the Team Scotland, and we want you all to come along and join us.
Yeah, and there's about, there's over 200 MIE experts that have been on the programme for various different lengths of time, and the guys there that are on Twitter are always happy to help schools or individual teachers with anything that you need. So please, if you've got a question on Twitter, stick that on it as well, and somebody will pick it up. If it's not us, one of the members of the community will definitely be there to help. So we'll get started for today then, looking at Teams. So again, most people, if you've been using this in your classroom, then you'll be familiar with it. If you have maybe moved to a school that is now using Microsoft Teams, that wasn't using it before, definitely it's going to be helpful for you today. We're going to be looking at the ways that you can give feedback within an assignment. And obviously what we've talked about previously with OneNote and Flipgrid and all these other things, they integrate really well within Teams. Depending on the tendency that you have will depend on what apps you can add to it. For me, we're using Glow in my school, so a lot of the apps aren't enabled, but we're still able to integrate things within Teams. So hopefully it'll give you an idea of some of the things that you will have access to as well. We're going to be talking about Rubrics, which we have mentioned Rubrics when it came to assessment in one of the last sessions that we did, but we're also going to talk a little bit about it tonight and how it can be used really to give some good feedback. If you're using the iOS app, and I'm not sure if it's an Android because I don't have an Android phone, there's audio that can be left in there, and also things like the praise that's in Teams, the Gifs, the emojis, the memes that you can put in. These are all part of the feedback that the kids will really, really like, and they can be leaving for each other as well. And for me, just to help keep things a little bit organised, setting up a dedicated feedback channel to your students so that they know where everything is. So we'll get started tonight, Amanda.
Yeah, I mean, in my local authority, we use Teams within Glow, and although there's restrictions on that, there's still a huge amount of functionality that you can really maximise and benefit from. So here we go. I'm so sorry about the budgies. I have given them extra special treats tonight to hopefully make them quiet, and it hasn't worked, so I apologise.
We all know the furry one in my house is going to bark at some point. So this was actually, in terms of giving feedback, most people are probably familiar with the feedback that you get within Teams. And when you're returning an assignment to a student, there's that little feedback box that you can type something in. So this is actually an example of some feedback that I've given to my students. I teach mainly senior kids this year, so a lot of the examples I've got are for senior kids, but it works for any age group. And it's a good way to give some overall feedback of the assignment that they've done. You can return it to students. It can be very specific to that student, but it's not necessarily specific to what they have done, maybe relating to a particular question. So I like to use it as a way of giving overall feedback, but not necessarily if I want to talk about one particular question. That's when I start looking at maybe using OneNote or creating a wee video and looking at the other features that we've mentioned throughout it. But for overall feedback on how the students have done and where they have to go next, it's really, really good. It's simple for them. They can go back in and they can look at the assignment and the feedback is there for them. It says when it says returned, they'll go in, and it's just a case of making sure you let them know that that's there. If you want students, though, to go back and maybe do something else based on the feedback that you've given. So I've got over on the right-hand side there, it was a presentation that a student had uploaded. There's a little bit in there for feedback. So I could be putting in that box, I want you to go back and have a look at slide number 4. You've not given enough information on the uses of stem cells, and I can return it for revision. So you'll see at the bottom there, there's a return button where the assignment gets returned to the student. but there's also a return for revision. And I use that if I want the students to do something else to it, if they've maybe not completed it, so they've handed it in by the deadline date, but they've not completed it and they need to go back and finish it off. And that then gives them something else to work on. Or it maybe was really, really good, but you want to extend it that little bit more. That return for revision button means that it goes back to them. They can make those changes based on the feedback, but then what you can do is you can go on and they can resubmit it into you. I noticed something's came up, Amanda, that says...
Yeah, I'm just trying to, and it won't let me. Hold on, I need to stop sharing. Oh, hold on. Here we go. There we go.
There we go. So those are the two images there, just an example of the overall feedback within assignments and returning that for revision if there's something else that you want the students to do.
Oh, did I miss something?
Sorry, just keep going. Let's go past this one. Yeah. So this was an example of using one of the features that we mentioned last night. So we mentioned last night about how you could add audio to maybe a PowerPoint that the student's doing. So they've given it to me. I've added some audio into it. And I want to make sure that the student knows that I have added audio to their PowerPoint that I want them to listen to. One of the features of Teams is that you can't actually add audio to that feedback box for the students to listen back to. And I think we all kind of have found out that it's really beneficial for the students. So what I've done there is for this student, I've said to him, go back into the PowerPoint, listen, there's a slide at the end, and that's got an icon for you to listen to the feedback that I've given, and then you can action what I've asked you to do. So I've used the assignment feedback to direct them to more detailed feedback within the task that they've actually done. And I can't remember if I've actually got an image of it, but I often do that with OneNote as well. So I give a lot of my feedback in OneNote rather than giving it within Teams. And then I ask the student to go into the OneNote to find the detailed feedback relating to each question for it. So if you just move on, Amanda, past that one. Yep. That was last night's slide.
Here we go.
So the next thing was rubrics, and I have started using these more and more with my classes from kind of the S2s and the S3s right the way up to the seniors in various different ways. So this was our added value, and I've shared this before that we were doing with our National 4 students, and you can see the instructions are there on the Teams assignment, and I have added a rubric there at the right-hand side. If you click on the next slide, Amanda, it should actually show us what the rubric looks like. So for this one, the students can see what it is that they've got to achieve. So I've got, have they included an aim? Have they said why it's relevant to the environment? Have they got 2 sources there? And all I've done with the rubric is I've actually only given them 2 options. They get 1 point if they've included it, and they get no points if they've not included it. So basically, this is just a case of, have they got it? Have they not got it? And they can see exactly what it is that they've got to include. And then when I'm marking it, I'm just clicking, they've included it, they've not included it, they've included it, they've not included it. And I do this for extended response questions as well for us within senior school, because the students have to include maybe 10 pieces of biology. Have they included it? Have they not included it? And again, I'm just clicking them down so the students can see. So the next slide, I think, will show you an example of what that looks like when I'm marking it for the student. So this is the student's PowerPoint that they have done. Over on the right-hand side, what we can see there is the rubric. And the section that I'm marking just now is whether or not it's relevant to the environment. So I'm reading their slide, and I'm going in and I'm clicking whether it's included or not included, and I can put some feedback for that particular section. And I can go through it easily enough, but if I want to expand it, if I click again, Amanda, I can then expand it, and I can then click on them, giving them whether they're bronze, whether they're silver, whether they're gold. So I can do it with the PowerPoint alongside me, or I can just expand the rubric up and I can just see it a little bit clearer. And then if you go on to the next one, it is this is an example again, another one. This is our S2 lab report, and I've been able to give some feedback here for the whole assignment that they've done. And again, the rubric is there. And if we click on the next one, we'll see the rubric. So the student's been given the overall feedback, but then I've gone through and I've clicked the rubric for whether they've for this one in particular, they've managed to achieve silver. So they've got 2 points, and then I can click bronze or gold for it. And I think that's maybe the last one.
Yeah, I popped in a rubric that I had done with my primary ones during one of the lockdowns. So it was symmetry week. So I think this was the end of symmetry. We had a little bit of a kind of assessment, and then I just popped in a really basic rubric, which was just about 2 columns, like you recorded and shared what you think symmetry is without looking at the video, or if you watch the video. So it was all just good. So we were just experimenting really with the wee ones. I didn't assign any points or anything like that. It was just to give really everybody at home an idea of kind of an expectation of what it was I was looking for. So really just very, very basic, and nothing to the scale that you would do in high school. But I just thought it was an interesting kind of comparison between secondary and primary. So.
And I think for the students there, when it comes to giving the feedback to them within the rubric, you're just selecting what they've done, but they can clearly see what they've included. And they're getting to see that from a marking point of view, and they can see what they've included. But what they can see as well, if I've got, for example, the one that I showed where it was silver, they can see, well, if I want to get up to gold, this is what I need to include in it. And that's a lot of information that I'm going to have to be sitting down, and giving the student, and they can clearly see. And I think the rubrics are something that they're used a lot in America. We use them quite a bit in science, but I think we're trying to find a better way of using them. The students would do this on paper before, and I would be sitting with 20 bits of paper. What we're now doing is trying to use them. But you've got that option of where it says download as a CV file. Then what you're doing is, I can make this up, I can download it as a file, and then I can share that with any of the members of my department, and you're cutting down the workload on that as well. But at the same time, you're getting quality feedback to the kids on how they've done and what they can do to improve themselves, particularly if they're doing in our case, their next science report. And then that's all logged within grades as well, so I can see it for the first one, the second one, the third one, and hopefully should see them getting better.
And it's really good because in rubrics, you don't have to have 3 columns. You can just make it 2 columns, or you can have 4 columns. So you can really differentiate as much or as little as you need to or want to for the students in front of you. So I really like rubrics. Let's see if I can skip on.
And the next wee bit was talking about adding audio in the iOS app. Now, this feature, you can't add audio to it if you're on the desktop app within Teams. But if you're using your phone, and for me, I've got an iPhone, there's that little microphone button. And somebody had mentioned about being able to leave audio feedback in Teams. And I think this links in very well if you've got a feedback channel, because you could maybe upload a picture of something, and rather than having to, make a video, or if it's something really, really quick, you can upload a photograph, and then you can just press that little microphone button and speak straight into your phone and give the kids feedback on something. That one I actually did it as a separate one. So I uploaded the picture, and then I made a whole new comment message there, whereas probably it would be better just to click on reply, and you can put it in there. So you can upload an image of maybe student work, or a marking scheme, for example, or a really good example of something that a student's done, and then just add a wee bit of audio into it at the end. And for your students that maybe struggle with their reading, again, they'll find that much easier to listen to. You have got the immersive reader in there, but really quickly, for me, you don't have to sit there and type. You can just click on that button and you can add some audio feedback. So it's a nice wee feature within the iOS app to be able to provide quality feedback to students that maybe would take you quite a long time to type, but a lot less time just to say.
Yeah, great time saver, isn't it? That's a really good one. I did not know that was there, but it is definitely in my iPhone. Sorry, Travis is now barking.
I'm getting my hand chewed here.
Oh dear. The next one is praise. So this is what I've used a lot actually with the wee ones in Teams, just in your channel. Click on a new conversation, or if one of your pupils or students have posted something in Teams, or they've done something that's been outstanding, you can actually just create a new conversation, click on that little icon. It looks like a little rosette shield, and you get options. So these are sort of editable. They're sort of standard, so you can choose courage or optimism or inclusive, awesome, any of those. You can choose those, and then you get to select a name, one name or multiple names. So this was just an example I was using. I just picked team player, click on the name. You can add a personalized note, and then you get a preview of what it's going to look like in your team channel. So this is you sharing something, a recognition or celebration of one of your students in your class, so that everybody can see this. And I just sort of typed up a little message. You get a preview, and then you just hit send, and then it's posted to that channel that you're doing it in. And the students get a wee notification that they've got something waiting for them as well, which is just a really lovely way of celebrating something with everyone.
Yeah, and that, celebrating successes when somebody's maybe handed something in and it's been really, really good, and you're just wanting to acknowledge it. And it doesn't matter what age those students are, they love a little bit of praise.
Yeah, it's like a sticker, isn't it?
It's a digital sticker, and kids love stickers even when they're 18.
Yeah.
I know that. And teachers love that as well. If you've got a staff team and you want to give somebody a little bit of feedback that they've done something well, the praise is really, really good for that. And they love seeing it coming up with their name.
Yeah, I've had it a few times, and it's always a nice surprise. It's always like, oh, that's nice. So yeah, I use it a lot with the wee ones. So I really like praise. The next one is reactions. So again, you just into your team channel in the top right-hand corner, you probably already know this, the 3 wee dots, extra options, you get reactions. And I tend to encourage my pupils to use this as, yes, I've seen it, or something like that. So it's just a kind of instant feedback, which is quick. We're not putting anything else on the channel or in the general chat, so it's not clogging everything up. It's just a, yeah, I've seen this, or it's just an acknowledgement, really, a quick instantaneous feedback.
Yeah, and I use this a lot for like feedback for me. So like that, let me know that you've seen this, put a little thumbs up to let me know that you're aware of this. This is new information. I quite often will ask I work with the eSchool team on a Monday night with the higher human kids, and often I'll put a question in there, and I'll just get them to give me a thumbs up. How are you feeling about your up and coming assessments? And ask them to give me a wee emojis are about to come on, but just a reaction. If you type in the question, they can then react to that question, and then you're getting immediate feedback from that. So I tend to use that more for them giving me feedback on things than for me giving them feedback.
Yeah, it's a handy one, isn't it? The next one is emojis. So here we go. Emojis. Again, you can start a new conversation. I use emojis all the time. I love them. I think a picture says 1,000 words, and it's just quick and instantaneous. You can click on this little icon and it'll open up the emoji menu. Or if you're on a Windows device, it's the Windows key plus full stop, and it'll open up your emoji menu. And if you're on a MacBook, it's Control plus Command plus Spacebar, and it looks kind of the same. So I just put in a wee screenshot of what it looks like on my MacBook. They're sort of slightly different, but same sort of things. And you can favorite your emojis, and you've got most frequently used, and you can see my favorites there. There's lots of laughing and crying. It says pretty much everything about how I react to things. But yeah, I love using emojis, and I encourage the wee ones as well, if because they can just say a lot without actually worrying about typing anything, and they can just use an emoji. So it's a nice quick way of communicating as well as feedback.
And a little bit of feedback about kind of how are they feeling? How are they feeling today? It was great when we were online and everybody was online, and being able to just use that really quick and simple to get an idea, and they pick the emoji that they want to use from that. And again, I probably find that's more asking them a question so that I can get some feedback on how they're feeling about a topic, how they're feeling about a lesson. It's great as kind of at the end of a lesson, using it as a wee plenary task. How did you feel? How confident do you feel about how the lesson went and what you've learned from today? And it's a great way for them to give me feedback that I can very quickly see just through images.
It's a quick, easy way as well, isn't it, Sarah? It's not onerous. You're just asking for how do you feel about something, and it's instant. Nobody's having to type anything or think very. You just go in and you instantly know what you want which emoji to pick. So, yeah. big fan of emojis. And the next one, I'm a very, very big fan of Gifs. The next little icon along when you start a new conversation, you get all these little icons up there, and there's a whole load of GIFs, which are appropriate. You do get the option to switch these off in Teams, but I never do. I love the fun stuff, and I always make sure that it is it's on so that I can use them and my pupils can use them. And again, a picture says 1,000 words. So there's quite a lot in the GIFs section now, because I'm going to go back. You just search kind of what you're looking for and pick the one you like the best.
This is my first task with the students when I get them in a class and we go on to Teams, and I say to them, put an emoji, put in a GIF about how you feel for this upcoming year. And I know that they now can get on Teams and they can get in and they can give me a little emoji. I sometimes set it as a wee homework task for them once we've been on in class. And as you said, sometimes you have to watch, because it does kind of get a little bit spammy where they keep doing them over and over again, and that's why people turn them off, and I understand that. But for me, I use them a lot. And actually, sometimes when we're doing our lessons with the eSchool team, I will ask a question and I will say to them, go in and find me a GIF that relates to photosynthesis, that relates to if it's the human body, that relates to the function of the human heart, and you can ask them one specifically on the topic that they're learning about, and it gives you an idea that they actually have been able to look at a load of images and pick one that definitely relates to the topic that they're doing. So it's good for that.
Yeah, great. And sort of demonstration of understanding, cross-curricular as well. It's strange you say this is the first thing you asked your students to do, Sarah. This is emojis and GIFs are the first thing that I always teach the wee ones how to do in a team. We have a general channel. We just go straight in. I put in a message and I will put in the first GIF or emoji, and I will teach them, send me an emoji, send me a GIF. And that's the very first thing that I'd always do with the P1s. Yeah, lots of fun to be had. The next bunch is stickers, memes, and word art. So stickers, you get the same sort of selection you get in OneNote, except not so many are editable. There's kind of groups, you get the Fruit Crew and Pets in Space and things like that. And you can see a kind of sort of selection there. These are my popular ones. These are the ones I like the best, and I use them all the time. So yeah, really another great way of giving a bit of feedback, and just a bit different as well. So I kind of mix it up with emojis and memes or GIFs and stickers and memes and things. There's an option if you scroll down on all that list there, you can get to a meme, which is like a blank GIF, and you can put in your own text. You can see there's a little pen there next to where it says meme. You can put in your own text, which is, I don't know how you would use that in school, Sarah, at high school, but yeah, that's editable. That one. I don't know if that's dangerous or not.
Sometimes they're a little bit dangerous. But I mean, a lot of these, I think it's the idea that not necessarily for giving the kids feedback, but for them giving me feedback on how they're feeling, how they're coping with things, rather than just saying, putting a number, putting an image a little bit more. And they scroll through, and I think they really like them, and I can then take that on board and changing my lesson accordingly with it. So yeah, they're all little things that you can kind of tweak to get feedback in different ways.
Yeah, and word art, I didn't even know that there was word art in there. It's standard, it's not editable, but there's a selection of word art that you can just put up, which says things like awesome, great, good job, things like that. So it's just another option in the toolkit for giving feedback or getting feedback from pupils in class.
And we mentioned about forms last night as well, and within there's a little icon for a little poll. So that's a very quick question. You can get a snapshot on how the students are doing, and again for feeding back to you as to how they're maybe coping with the lesson or how they're coping with the topic that they're doing. Just putting in one question within the poll and getting them to give you it back, and you're getting instant results from that.
Mm-hmm. And here we go. And specific feedback channel.
Yeah, so with myself, I have a feedback channel. I've mentioned this before when we were talking about teams and all different kind of channels and organising. And I think with teams, the more you can organise your team, the easier it makes it for kids to know where to go within the team for things. So I use the emojis in it as well, the little icons, so that you can give them a visual one. But I have in my team a channel for a lot of them that says feedback. And if I am posting a video within Flipgrid, if I'm posting a link to a website, if I'm uploading a video, if it's a photograph of something, if I'm just telling them I've returned your form to you and I want you to go and look at the feedback, that post is put in the feedback channel. I at team, that means that every kid in the team is going to get a notification about it, but have a specific channel for feedback so the students know that's where it's going to be, that's where they have to check. If that feedback channel is bold, then they know. And I'm putting in there for their praising, their celebrations, their modelling answers, everything is going into that one channel. And I think actually the next one, I've got a couple of images of the types of thing that I'm meaning. So you can see down the side there, that's my higher team, all the different channels that are there. So I've got the live lessons, problem solving, but there is one there that says feedback. So that last assessment that we just did there, I put a little comment in. There's a Flipgrid video there that's giving them specific feedback that I want them to watch, but it's in that feedback channel, so they know that's where to go. And actually since then, because we've been doing quite a lot of assessments recently, there is a lot of feedback that is now starting in that team that they're expected to go in and do. And then again, you can say to them, please like it to let us know that you've watched that video, although Flipgrid will show you how many views anyway. But that way you can then say, well, I know the kids are going in there and looking at it also.
I think that's great what you said there, Sarah, about organising your team, because as we know, some of the channels can get really, really busy, you know, and then sometimes it's quite difficult to scroll back and try and find something that you're looking for. You remember, was it in here? But it's very clear when it's feedback, that's where it's going to be. And it kind of makes your search a little bit easier, doesn't it? I love that.
Yeah, and I've set our general channel so that only, you know, in terms of new posts, only myself and the other teachers can create a post. The kids can reply on it. But this is another example when the advanced hires. So you can see one of the other teachers has said there, checking the file section for their feedback for that homework. Go in and check in the file section. So they've been putting feedback in the files. I've been doing them as little videos because we share a class together. But again, everything's in there. So the kids know that's where they have to go. And we're then directing them to where the feedback is. So we're not necessarily giving them the feedback in the channel, but we're telling them where that feedback is, because we've got feedback in various different forms depending on the needs of the task that they were doing.
I think I've got one example of a class. Yeah, there's my celebration channel. I number my channels because I don't want them to be listed in alphabetical order. And I also use emojis at the end of the channel title or the channel name. And my celebration channel was called Warm Fuzzies. That's just what we celebrated in class with. We had a little jar of warm fuzzies, and that's what we had in our class, our team. So
and is that where you're putting all the praises and all the stickers and everything
all
in
the
there?
praises, all the stickers, everything is in there. So it's just a lovely warm fuzzy channel to go and visit and see all the happy things that go on in that channel. Yeah. So I think that's probably us actually, Sarah. I think that's
what came in. We ran over last night and now we're in time tonight.
Yeah.
There's not any questions came up in the chat tonight, so we're a little bit quieter tonight with it, but we would love to get your feedback. We'd love to get your feedback on the feedback. As we said, there's a code there, and that code kind of is the same code for each of the 4 sessions that we've done. There's also a link in the chat that we would ask you to fill in, just so that we can look in ahead what people have found beneficial, what they would like to see more from that. And as we said, if you are using the Microsoft Educator Centre, then please go in and redeem that code and ask us anything at any point. Now, I can't remember the exact dates, but we are back with the last of our 5 Steps Digital, and it's accessibility. I think it's yourself and Ros that are back doing that, Amanda, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Accessibility tools, which are always handy for everyone. I use them every day. So a couple of sessions on that, not next week, the week after.
16th and 17th of March they are, yes.
Yeah.
So I think for people, I mean, when we were talking about the different things that we could be doing for this with accessibility, we really talked about being able to give people that are working with pupils within ASN a kind of a specialist one for them, although it is something for everybody. But if you are working with pupils with additional support needs, there is lots of little tips that are going to come up in there that really could make a huge difference to the learners that are in front of you, and just make their ability to access the learning so much easier.
Yeah, we've talked about it throughout all the sessions. I think where, you know, we're constantly talking about immersive reader and dictate and audio, and all these tools are there and built in. So yeah, we're going to be sort of diving a little bit deeper into other tools that are available for us to use as well. Ease of access center and color overlays and all sorts of things like that. So please sign up and come along and join in.
Excellent.
And, that's us for tonight. See, that was a quick one tonight. We are
Quick one.
early, so we've kind of
We'll be back on the-
we've kind of finished it a wee bit early. So you've got
Yeah,
some time.
so back on the 16th and 17th of March with the ASN specialist. And we'll take care, and thanks for everybody that joined us live and for everybody that's watching back on demand. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.